Well, that's really good news. There is zero damage and absolutely no indication that this bike ever slid or just went down. At least not heavily anyway. And the other thing I did notice was the fairings as they came off. I mean, usually anytime somebody replaces fairings, at least one bolt isn't right, but they seem like they'd never been touched. So I have absolutely no idea what happened to this thing, but whatever it was not serious at all. It's the thing's mint. I mean, absolutely no damage once you get under the skirt, so that's pretty slick. In the middle of doing that, I couldn't help myself. I had to replace the daytime, or what do they call those, city lights with some LEDs. My big bulbs haven't come in yet, but those are just an H10 wedge base bulb, so super easy. I always keep a whole bunch of those in my garage anyway. So, well, we got stripped down enough now that I can give it a quick little detail under the fairings. But the real reason I wanted to get that part apart was so that when I'm working on the tank here, I don't burn or damage the fairings with the orbital, because I want to be able to get right down to the edge and not damage anything. And there was some plastic here too that, you know, once you get that compound in the plastic, it never comes out. So yeah, we're going to pop the seat out next, and then we can start to work on this tank. I started off with some 1500 grit and then went to 2000, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see, try to get there's the angle, right there. We still got a little bit of a low spot there, but honestly I'm not worried about it. If I really wanted this flawlessly perfect, I'd go back and I'd hit it one more time with some black paint when we hit it again until we got it perfectly flat, but that's going to buff out so nice, I'm not worried about it. Same thing with this one over here. It's 100% better than it was. It's not going to be perfect, and really I'm okay with that for this. So I just wanted to make sure, you know, within a couple of feet you couldn't see the mark, and once I hit that with the wheel, we should be good. And you know what, the worst case, if it's not good enough, then I can always go back and hit it again. Or if down the road it annoys you or annoys me, I can always just do exactly what I just did again until we get it just perfect. But that should be fine for this. So going to be using Meguiar's Ultimate Compound. This is my favorite Lazy Man's compounding formula. It's not an aggressive compound, but it's also not super fine either. So you can get a lot done with this, including that 2000 grit sandpaper. It's rough enough that I can polish that 2000 grit sandpaper and get a really nice finish out of it. But it's not so rough that you have to go then use another lighter compound or glaze to make it look right. So I'm actually gonna be taking an extra step here because it's black more than anything else. I'm gonna use this polish. So this is Meguiar's Ultimate Polish. It's not a compound, it's a true polish, so it's much less aggressive. And if this was any other color other than black, you would not even need this. You could just use the Ultimate Compound and go to the wax. But because it's black, I'm still seeing those fine hairline scratches that will annoy me. So I'm gonna hit it with some Ultimate Polish, and that should take care of that. This this is going to be our before and 5 minutes later. We also got the tank waxed. It's not perfect, but you know, from even 2 feet away now you can't see it. You got to really get within a foot or so to start to see some of the scratches. So I am quite happy with that. Alright, so we got a little bit of shiny stuff in the mail today. So these are the foot pegs with the shifter and the brake, all anodized in red. And then I also grabbed a set of clutch and brake levers to replace the ones that were damaged. Plus, these are adjustable, which is good. Yeah. Oh, before I take off this windshield that I just restored, let me show you it. So this is that same windshield that I showed you in the last video. And as you can see, it took about 10 minutes or so worth of work. But this was the one that was really bashed up. It's not perfect, but man, it looks really good. And I didn't realize how cheap parts for 300 are. Oh my god, there's nothing on this bike that's expensive. So 20 bucks, it was $19.99. I ordered a new windscreen, and the new one is somewhere. Here it is. So the new one is bumped, which is, wow, is it windy. Man down. So the new one I ordered is bumped, so it's a double bump. So it gives you a little bit better wind protection, but I also wanted it to be tinted as well. So this one's a smoked windscreen. I like the look of the black windscreens, but I actually do tuck sometimes and look through the windscreen. And the tinted ones at night, forget it. You can't see anything. Or sorry, the tinted ones, you can't see anything. The smoke ones are fine. So for 20 bucks, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have spent 10 minutes of my time making that one look so pretty if I knew they were only 20 bucks. So I don't know any of the history on the service end of the bike. I don't know when the last time the oil was changed, oil and filter. All I know is that it looks like it's about a half a quart or maybe a quarter of a quart low. These don't hold much oil, so it doesn't take much to have them go down like that. And the color is a little dark, but it's not that bad. So I'm guessing the oil is not that old and the filter looks brand new. But either way, we're going to change out the oil and the filter just to be safe before I really start to ride it. So oil wise, I'm using a 1040, and the filter is a high flow filter from it's an HF303. And yeah, this is going to be the world's easiest oil change. So these bikes are easy to change even with the lower fairing on. Obviously you can see the mounts there. I have the lower fairing off right now because I'm replacing it. But this can be done with the fairing on just based on a quick look at it, although it's probably a little bit messy because that drain plug may shoot oil into the lower fairing. But while you have the fairing off, this is going to be the world's fastest oil change. Oh, did it without dropping the bolt or the washer. 10 points. Now I'm really gonna piss some people off. So here comes the drain bolt. And here comes the impact wrench. Oh, it's on now. I'll put on my flame suit.
Did he just use an impact wrench on a drain plug? Is he crazy?
Yeah, no, it's because I'm not a moron. You give it a couple of clicks, it's not gonna do any damage. If I sat there and okay, that would be dumb, and that's when people strip these things out. But a couple of clicks on the hammer does nothing. It just puts just a nice amount of snugness on the bolt. And really, am I gonna go get a wrench when I already have this on my impact? No, I'm not. I'm just gonna zip it on. So calm down in the comments. Calm down! So if you own a street bike and you don't have one of these jacks or stands, you're really doing yourself a disservice for a couple of reasons. For long-term storage, you know, if you're in a wintry climate, these are obviously great for your tires, keeps them off the ground, so you don't develop flat spots. Well, flat spots with modern tires is pretty rare. The other thing that they do is they get it off concrete, and concrete absorbs water and will actually dry out your tires prematurely, so it's a good idea to get them up off the ground. The other thing is when you're servicing, in order to check your actual oil level, I used to always, you know, try to balance the bike as best you can, but you never get it dead on accurate. When you have it up on a stand like this, it makes measuring levels, you know, dead nuts accurate. So these things are super cheap, and they're super handy. If you have a cruiser and you don't have exhaust running under, you've got frame rails, you can use the other style lift. I've had those in the past. Actually, I used to have one. I gave it to my brother now, but those are fine. But for a street bike, you know, these just cradle your rear end. Cradle your rear end. These just cradle the swing arm, so it'll lift just about anything, and it's easy to roll around too, which is nice. So with the bike back together, it was time to go through the experience of getting a salvage motorcycle recertified for the road. So this is the first time for me. I've never actually done that. I've had salvage vehicles in the past, but never actually had to repair, inspect, and go through that process. So state of New Hampshire made it very easy. Just made an appointment, went in, met with a state police officer and some other DOT people, and they did more than just kind of look over the bike. I figured they'd just give it a quick once over twice and just sign, here you go, you're all set. But they really were into it. They wanted to make sure there wasn't any hidden damage. They wanted to make sure all my repairs worked. And obviously with this bike, it was an easy repair. It was just a shifter linkage. So they had me take it off the trailer and have them take a look at it and go through it. And took about 10 minutes and we're all set to go. So he slapped a sticker on the bike, gave me some paperwork, and I was able to shoot down to the town hall and get it registered without any problems whatsoever. So, how did we do price-wise? Let's take a look. So the grand total came to $2,434.98, and that's everything from buying the bike to the replacement parts and even the salvage inspection to get it on the road. And I think I'm very happy with it. I think that's a good deal. I think this bike looks a lot more expensive than $2,400, and it's so cheap that if I don't use it a lot, I won't feel bad about just having it sitting in the garage. And when I do use it, it turns out that it's actually a lot of fun, and it's way faster than I thought it would be. Don't get me wrong, it's not fast, but it's way faster than I thought it would be. And you'll see I do a couple of runs here getting up to 60 miles an hour, and you know, it gets there. It gets there pretty good. It's just, think of it as a slightly faster scooter that looks like a scooter wearing hot pants. But it's really easy to drive, really fun. It's going to be perfect. And for $2,400, I don't think you can go wrong. And for buying a salvage bike, I would definitely do it again in a heartbeat. This was actually a little bit of fun, and the parts I get to put on there are parts that I would have liked to have done to another bike anyway, because I think they look cool. So yeah. There you have it. I'm going to leave you with ripping around town here a little bit on it. And, you know, any questions, as always, make sure you throw them down in the comment sections. Any concerns or criticisms, you can throw those down there, too, right down below me. And otherwise, enjoy the rest of this clip, everybody, and thanks for watching. Next video, by the way, garage update number 11. Thank God the weather's turned and I can get back to working on the garage. So can't wait to get that video together for you guys. But until then, enjoy my my scooter.